Okay, well, turns out it worked out the way pretty much everyone predicted would happen. The returnees stuck together and booted everyone else off, and then Tyson ends up winning. More on that later. So the episode starts off with the duel, and it played out basically the way I thought it was going to. Hayden lost, the moms duel each other, and then Tina ends up coming back into the game. And basically, it's revealed that Tina coming back was pretty much a worst case scenario because, well, Tina, she doesn't really have that great of a social game as revealed by Sierra and then echoed by Jerry earlier this season. I've already stated that, so I won't say that again. And also, of course, Tina isn't the greatest of the challengers. Oh man, she could try, let me tell you, but I think we've gotten that demonstrated enough, huh? So Tyson winning that individual immunity on day 37 pretty much guaranteed that the alliance was going to stick together because he gave the idol to Jervis, and then there was no point in Monica flipping because her vote is just going to be discounted anyway. So then they've got to decide which one of them are they going to get rid of, Sierra or Tina. And then Jervis, and another one of his crazy ramblings, just goes, Tina has done beat this season. They're not going to award $1 million again to somebody like that. Did you not watch HVV, Jervis? Okay, you could have argued the exact same thing for Sandra, but there it's not that she did nothing, okay, well, Tina this season has done closer to doing nothing than Sandra did in HVV. The label that Sandra should have in HVV is that she didn't accomplish anything except get into the finale, and then getting rid of Coach, but pretty much everybody wanted to get rid of Coach. Because I've seen both Pearl Islands and HVV, and Sandra was doing basically the same amount of activity in both seasons. The problem is in HVV, she wasn't able to accomplish anything that she wanted to do, minus Coach, like I said. So it's kind of already happened, but Tina in this case is even worse. Come on, Jervis. Then, surprisingly, they all vote to get rid of Sierra, which was kind of shocking, but then, as I saw what was going on in the challenge the next day, I realized why they did it. Because while Tina is more of a threat for against the free returnees to win the $1 million, she is far less likely to win individual immunity. Smart, even though I hated to see Sierra go. And then as the episode went on, the more I'm looking at Tina's game, I go, I actually would rather you not win this, Tina, because I don't hate you, Tina, but there really hasn't been much that you've done this season, and you winning, it's kind of even worse than Sandra winning twice, because, okay, I'll admit, I do have a tiny bit of, not hatred, just a disappointment that Tina beat Colby, because I gotta admit, I kind of was for Colby winning Australia. I'll admit, but hey, I wasn't too much complaining about Tina winning there, just like I'm not complaining about Sandra winning in Pearl Islands, but she was the actual person I was rooting for that situation. But what I'm trying to get at is, had Tina won, it would have been even worse than Sandra winning twice. But you have to remember something about these two. I don't really have any complaints about them winning the first win. It's the second win that would have bugged me. And if you're wondering why they didn't do Last Rites, it's because this is a Redemption Island season. There's too much going on with 2 individual immunities, 2 tribal councils, the last Redemption Island duel, and then the jury speeches, and then the vote reveal. Okay? So you can't really cram in a Last Rites. But they do it. Jeff's revealed that. So I'm pretty sure that means the only season that they didn't really do Last Rites was possibly Africa and possibly Australia. I can't remember. I wouldn't be too surprised if they did it for Africa, though, but because they ended up giving us info on where each jury member was as the final 2 were heading to their respective final tribal councils. Sorry about that, my hand's aching. I think you get the idea. So, Tina lost the final immunity, and she's claiming that she could beat Jervis in the final making tiebreaker. But I'm like, Monica, at this point, it's not worth flipping, okay? Because either you're going to stick with Tyson and Jervis and give Tyson $1 million, because Jervis has no shot, or you're going to flip to Tina, and then she might lose or she might win, but if she wins, Tina gets $1 million, okay? You have no shot, Monica. And the way that she was just behaving at those tribal standing, I'm gonna have to make the move about Monica, and I'm just like, Tyson's right. You just talk too much because the way you were talking, it made Tyson realize, you know what, it's too much of a risk not to give Jervis the idol. It's stuff like that. I mean, like, Jeff did do a little bit of stuff that prompted her, but in this case, I don't really feel like that's Jeff prying too much. I mean, like, I do feel like he was kind of prying, but it wasn't as bad as other times that he's pried, although I can't remember the specific examples. Oh, yeah, the discussion about Olive's relationship with Vetus when Olive left the game. Okay, that was one that he shouldn't have done. Okay. So after Tina left, which I was basically happy about because she hadn't done that much, even though I don't really mind Tina, uh, I'll admit I skipped past the Joey speeches because I'm like, there's really no need to watch this. I know Jervis has no shot. People are more likely to give it to Tyson for him being in the driver's seat, and while he caused more personal problems with the members of the jury, at the same time he didn't act wishy-washy and not be unclear about where things stood with him, because he made his path pretty clear once he fully cemented himself in that driver's seat. Monica, it was just she was with the majority alliance and she continued to vote with them. So in the end, Tyson wins, which I was pretty happy about, because, you know, another person who was in the driver's seat managed to do a good sailing all the way through, ended up being the person who had his name written down the least the entire season, because he has 2 votes. That's it. And both times, he wasn't in danger of going. So, ultimately, I was happy with the results of the finale, but unfortunately, Tyson winning those individual immunities just made it not exciting. Because, okay, going into this finale, I think most of us were hoping for an exciting finale, trying to figure out where Monica would stand and stuff like that, but Tyson winning made it so his alliance was in complete control, and that flipping was virtually useless. Well, actually, it was useless. So that's really my only gripe about the finale. It was just too dang predictable. Ultimately, though, I think it was a good season, and then I think I'll rank this as the 3rd best season since HVV. Why am I ranking it 3rd and not 2nd or 1st? Well, because this isn't a true dislike, because it can be viewed as a like and a dislike. I had too many people I liked. I couldn't throw myself behind one person to win, unlike One World where I wanted Kim to win, and South Pacific where I wanted the Apollo 3 to basically triumph. Although I was interested to see Ozzy's fight to stay alive, let me tell you. And also, I just didn't get as hype towards the end, which is what I mean, predictable finale. The finales for South Pacific and One World, I got hyped, either rooting for a specific person to win One World, or just because it was so intense, South Pacific. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we got to tackle that reunion, and there really isn't that much to talk about, really. They're discussing stuff that most of us would probably already know about if we listened to the after show with Pav or Dodson Ross's podcasts, and Rob Sesternino's podcasts. Yeah, I can't leave him out. So there's not that much to gain, and then the twist for next season, I'm glad that they're not doing returnees, but not for the reason you think. Most people don't want returnees to come out because they're tired of returnees. I'm personally fine with returnees. I'm glad that they're not doing it because the first names that popped into my mind when I heard Broad, Beauty, and Braid were you would have Ashley for Redemption Island and RC, and then some other person that we probably wouldn't like. Oh, thank God that's not happening. And one thing I want you guys to think about. Do you think that they're going to divide all 3 tribes up by three guys, three girls, or do you think they'll go for one guy, one girl, one mixed? I don't think they're going to do that other option, but it's something to think about, huh? Okay, so now finally down to, I think it's not the ranking of contestants, but how I think they did. Okay, so first of all, returning players that improved themselves from the previous time. Rupert to a degree, because HEV put him in a pretty bad place. Candace, she surprisingly redeemed herself in my eyes. Laura. Tyson, going from making one of the dumbest moves in the history of the show, and he's actually pretty high in the dumbest moves list, okay? You can argue Jervis. I personally will put him on the just fine list. Is that it? Calder to a degree, I'll throw him in there. People who are fine in the transition. Monica, cause basically I feel like in retrospect, mind you, only in retrospect, she did basically the same game as last time, but got farther, okay? Stupid dog. Tina, Jervis, as I mentioned, and I'll put Colton, because it was sort of close to what he was having the last time, except he just wanted to be, well, he did want to be nicer, but it didn't work out like that. And then I'll just put Aris on there, because I don't remember his gameplay too much from last time. Who got worse? Colton did to a degree. I have to put him on multiple lists. Jervis did. I think I'll put him someone's up, okay? If I'm forgetting anyone, sorry. Oh yeah, Kat. Oops. She's fine. And then, what? Loved ones? Well, they're probably going to bring back. They're going to bring back Brad. That's a guarantee, unless he doesn't want to come back. I wouldn't be too surprised if John comes back. They're absolutely going to bring back Sierra. And I wouldn't be too surprised if they bring back Hayden or Vetus either. What about the others? Well, Rachel and Marissa, they were out way too early to get a great opinion on them. Rupert's wife, something tells me that she's going to be fine with what she's had here. She had a good experience and she got quite a ways. Katie and Caleb, well, it's basically the same thing as the girls that I mentioned earlier, except they just got farther. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the recap for this for now. Lee, not bad. It was just unpredictable. That's one reason I ended up bumping down the season in the rankings. But trust me, this is a good one.